Welcome to the Specialist Trading Weekly E-Mini Review for the week ending December 3rd, 2010. Now in today's review we're going to be covering day trading strategy 4 once again. I know we posted a review on this strategy last week, but a number of members have been writing in and saying how much they love the strategy, how much it's perfect for their day trading examples, and how they really like day trading this particular strategy. The only problem is that a number of you have said that you don't get a lot of signals or as many signals as you'd like. So we're going to show you how you can alleviate that problem with just a few minor changes. But before we begin, as always, we want to remind you we are having a current promotion with Global Futures. Global Futures has been my broker. They are very highly recommended by us. If you haven't spoken to Michelle Jimenez, we really suggest that you do. They are currently running a very nice promotion where if you mention coupon code SP20, you'll receive 20 free contracts when you open and fund a new account. So if you're not too happy with your current broker, or you're new to futures trading and you really want to open up an account, we really suggest calling up Michelle directly at 818-670-7733, and as always, tell them that Specialist Trading sent you. Okay, now before we begin, please take a second to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you some more performance results from this past week using strategy number 4. But remember, we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to show you will be repeated in the future. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer, and then we shall begin this week's E-Mini review. Okay, so as I mentioned, a number of you really said how much you like strategy number 4, how it fits perfectly into your game plan. The only trouble is you haven't been seeing a lot of signals. You'd like to see more signals. As with any strategy, it doesn't matter if it's ours or someone else you're using or something that you've come up with. Remember, if you want to see, this is a common rule of thumb, if you want to see more strategies, the easiest thing to do is to go to a different time frame. Now, a lot of you have said, well, yes, I've even gone down from a 10-minute chart to a 5-minute chart, even down to a 1 or 2-minute chart. I'm still not seeing as many signals as I'd like. So what we want to do is suggest how you can really change that. Now, here's a 5-minute chart going from today, the E-Mini, how you could have taken advantage of possibly one particular trade here. This is the setup for going short the E-Mini on a 5-minute time frame using strategy number 4. And as you can see, it would have worked out very well because it immediately went down once you had the signal bar, and knowing the rules how you should trade strategy number 4, you would have had a nice down move immediately after entering this trade. Here's the only problem. According to our exit rules, you most likely would not have been able to exit because this is where you would have had to cover your short, and most likely you would have been in line behind a number of people wanting to cover their short or to purchase at that level, and you probably would not have. So at worst case scenario, you would have probably broken even. As we always suggest, once you get down to those lower limits of getting executed, you should probably move your stop to unchanged. So had you done that, you would have broken even on the trade, but remember, that would have been your only trade of the day, and you would have been sitting and watching for the next 4 or 5 hours, waiting for another setup where there wouldn't have not been any. So how can we, alleviate that problem? Well, here's one thing I suggest, and this is one thing that I use in my trading: tick charts. Using tick charts with strategy number 4. Now let's look at the same time period. This is still the same time period of that example, roughly between 7 and 8 in the morning, but now we've gone to a 500 tick bar. Now, I'm not going to suggest what time frame to use using tick bars. There's no science behind it. It's pretty much just a hit and miss. I just basically, for my own trading, go with 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, things of that, staying in some type of uniform order there with a 500 base. But a lot of students and a lot of webinars I've attended, suggest Fibonacci numbers, anything from 800 to 1,300 to 34 or 2,100. It's all up to you. Wherever you see a signal, that's all that matters. Now, if you go down to a smaller time frame than less than 500, I think you'll see a lot more signals, but you may get a lot more whipsaw. So it's been my experience that 500 should be the lowest threshold in terms of day trading, regardless of using this strategy or any one other of our strategies, okay? So I wouldn't go any lower than 500. But you're going to be seeing the most signals, I believe, at this level. Okay, so here we are in a 500 tick bar chart as opposed to the 5-minute time frame, and we're basically in the same time frame where we had that other example But in this example, we see that we have a setup bar right here. Using strategy number 4, this is our valid setup bar according to all the rules and requirements. Everything is met, so this means that if we trade one tick above there, we're going to go long. And we did. We entered at 12.20. We immediately placed our stop, and as you can see, price immediately started to go upwards. And according to the basic rules for exiting, you would have exited at 12.21 for a quick point in probably less than a minute or two. Okay, so you've got a quick point in about a minute. Now, probably I'd say about another 15 minutes down the road, you got another signal, but this time to go short according to our rules and looking for the setup bar, and this was a short sale. You would have entered short at 12.18 according to the rules and placed your stop just above the high of the setup bar, and now you simply wait for price to go down to your level, which would have been right here, which you would have covered, and it made a nice 1.25 gain. Okay, so right there in that first example we showed you, the 5-minute time frame, you would have had one example going short, which I believe was actually at this point, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been possibly a little bit later, but be that as it may, we're just taking the signals as they appear in this particular time frame. You know, I don't like to look at other time frames to determine the time frame I'm trading. I just like to look at what's in front of me. If I'm trading a 500 tick bar, that's all I'm looking at. I'm not looking at higher time frames. You know, on average, I just look at the current time frame I'm using. So with this current time frame, we had 2 nice setups and 2 profitable trades. Now, if we go further on down the day, we forget, you know, and skip the lunch break, which happens to coincide with the lunch in New York, and there's a lot of whipsaw action. We get back to trading once again around 10 o'clock our time, which would be around 1 o'clock or so New York time. We see that we had some more setups here. We had another buy setup right here using strategy number 4. So we entered at this level. We would have exited here for another quick point gain. In about another 40 minutes or so, we had once again another setup to go long. We would have entered once again and exited for a 1.25. Now, the one thing we want to mention, remember, as you go to smaller time frames, you're going to get more and more signals. You're going to see much more signals as opposed to a 5 or 10 minute time frame. The only trouble is the signals and the gains will be less. The good things is the risk will be less, but you'll have a lot more trades, so it may add up. So we're not going to really be looking for 2, 4, 5 point gains here in the E-mini. We're looking for maybe 75 cents to a point or so, okay, on average. All right, so let's recap now. Strategy number 4 is a great strategy to trade to capture real short-term momentum moves. As we go down from minute bars down to tick bars, we're going to get a lot more signals. But remember, with more signals comes more trades, but these trades are going to have less gains. We're not going to have these higher point gains. We're on average going to be anywhere from 3/4 of a point to a 1.25. But that's okay. They add up. As you can see here, of the 4 trades we looked at, 4 were all profitable. We had a point gain, a 1.25, another point, and another 1.25. So we're looking at roughly nearly 5 points, about 4.5 points in 4 trades, all profitable. And that can add up. We're talking about roughly about $200 for the day, just looking at these signals. That can add up to roughly $1,000 a week. $1,000 a week, but very simple, very low risk. So this is a great strategy. All we're looking at is a buy-sell line, and then we're looking at a pattern recognition trade here. As always, though, I know our students' eyes light up when they see these strategies. They think, boy, this is so simple, so easy. I can, make tons of money. But if you don't know how to properly execute, you're not going to make money. You're going to enter at the wrong place. You're not going to know where to place your stop. You're going to exit at the wrong place. You're going to take on too much risk. You're not going to use the buy-sell line properly. So we always, urge you to go to the video learning section and watch the video and learn the strategies like the back of your hand. Watch them 5, 10, 20 times if you have to. And then once you feel that you know all the rules, you could write them down on a piece of paper, then we don't want you to start trading. Start paper trading. Even if it's for a month, that's okay. But paper trade for a while, and then once you have that under your belt, then we feel you can start trading with real capital. Keep it small, 1 contract at a time. Our edge here, what we're trying to give you is consistency. We do not want you to come in here thinking that you're going to make 500% the first month, as so many schools of trading will promise. We're trying to make sure that you're here 5, 10 years down the road still trading the way we are. Okay? If you have any questions about what we showed you today with strategy number 4, with tick charts, or anything on the website with any other strategy, please do not hesitate to email me at stephenprimo at specialisttrading.com. In closing, we ask that you take one last look at our disclaimer. I showed you a lot of results today with strategy number 4, how you could have used that particular strategy today, just one day here, and you would have had some nice gains. But remember, we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I showed you with strategy number 4 will be repeated in the future. So please take one last look at our disclaimer. And remember, we give these videos each and every week for your learning and educational experience in trading. If you have any questions, email me at stephenprimo@specialisttrading.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you here next week. Bye-bye.